Alright, I know I haven't made a lot of videos lately. There's been a heat wave down here and it's finally gotten a little cooler. And just hadn't been comfortable at all to go out and do anything. So today I thought we'd do a little fox. Just a cute little fox. It's just I just cut a little, I saw a little pattern and I cut it out, in other words, out of a magazine. Or something like that. It wasn't a woodcarver magazine, it was just and so it's just going to be a little fox, a little cute little fox, and we're going to do that for you here today. Let's get this kind of, and we're going to come down here like this. I'm sorry, these pencil marks, it's so hard to see sometimes. Coming this far over, I go with it. There's that side and stuff like that. All right, what this is the tail is going to come around, so we're going to go ahead and make a cut right in there and start removing a little bit of this. This is just an easy little project. It's a cute little fox. And we're going to make it kind of curve like this, curve over like this a little bit. And we're going to make it just cut into this foot right here, which will bring it down even more. I hope everybody is well. Everybody's doing Halloween stuff now, so they're doing ghosts and they're doing this and they're doing that, and I think it's an appropriate thing, but I don't, because there's so much done now on the internet. I don't try to do just things over and over again. I try to find things that are, and what happens is the tail goes around and goes back here, and you have to get some rod bar right here and right here, in other words, and then it goes over here like this, in which case we are going to come around and take some of that off right in there. See, it just sort of goes around like that, and then we remove parts of the, and then we're just separating right now the parts from the head to the tail and things like that, okay? We're going to do the same thing up here. We're going to come from underneath here. Things have been well. I was been working a lot on my stepdaughter's Airbnb that she's getting ready to. She bought an older house and there was a lot of fix-up that had to be done to it, a lot of work, and we're just about to the end right now. This is the back leg here that I'm doing. We're going to only do it on this side because the tail is going to cover it from over here. And so we've been working on that Airbnb, and it's looking good now, almost completely finished. And we've had some real issues with that house, but we finally have kind of got it rolling right now. And then I've been in a play, our little Act 1 Scene 1 group. Usually I just build sets, and I don't act in a lot of the shows because I just don't. We're busy when we're building the sets, but They did a production of Mice and Men, and of course Mice and Men is like 9 men and only 1 woman, so they needed all the men we could get for our Act 1 Sing Run group. So we just got through doing of Mice and Men, a classic by John Steinbeck. And Steinbeck, as you know, was very famous for the Grapes of Wrath and the Pearl, and most famous the Grapes of Wrath, which he wrote. We're going to get the tail back here. We had to remove quite a bit of language out of the play. We do it from a church. It's a church. We have a theater. We work with the church, and I think I spoke about this, that the money that goes to the church, we split it in half with our little group, and they have a dinner there, and the money that goes to the church is for their missions and stuff like that. Now, as I say, we had to cut a lot of language out of the play because it wasn't a church, and most of the language we had to cut out was not so much curse words, but it was racial type slurs that we had to cut out. And we just decided that this was not appropriate for this area or for community theater of any kind. So we took the language out, and I'm glad we did, because the character, I say, he is, and what we have to understand, and people just, you know, if you don't have to use it, and it didn't take away from the play by not using it, but if you don't have to use it, then it's best not to, because all you're going to do is stir up problems and trouble, and you don't want that. And as a church, as a Christian church, First Christian Church, we don't, you know, it's not really appropriate to use that language, and I think most of you know what I'm talking about when I say the racial words and stuff like that that were used. But even the African American actor that we had in the play, he even used it twice, or was supposed to use it twice. So we just didn't feel it was appropriate, and I'm glad that we made that decision. That's one of the reasons why I love our little theater group, and we'll work with it, because it is based by a church, so we don't have all the filthy language with it. All right, as you can see, now I've cut this leg, and it's not going to go all the way through because of the tail over here, but it will present an issue with the legs, in other words. So we're getting that cut down and everything. But we finished up the play, and it did very well. Steinbeck, as we all know, is a wonderful writer, but his themes are dark. They're not. We do one drama a year, and we chose to do that. But his themes are dark. As everybody knows, in the Grapes of Wrath, it was not a show that you. I don't think there's a play, The Grapes of Wrath. There may be, I don't know, but it's just not he's not a writer that, you know, you go away wishing, because he wrote during the Depression era, and it's just like the language. In those days, just like with Mark Twain and stuff like that, it was a normal language that was said back then, and it was not, you know, condemned or whatever. But, you know, nowadays, which I am glad, we don't have that. It's best not to use those type of words. And it didn't, like I said, it didn't take away from the play. We substituted words for it, and just wasn't necessary to say. It just wasn't. All right, now we're getting the body ready here, and as you can see, the tail comes around the side, and we want to make that a little bit deeper and stuff. See how we're doing this now? Yeah, Halloween will be here. Christmas will be here before we all know it, so. Okay, now on the snout, we just begin on both sides to bring that down. But we had good response, good audiences, and it was a good play. And go. Now I'm going to come back here with the ears at the very center, and I want to make a little cut here and a little cut here on the side. Just sort of bring those ears apart. But it was a good performance. We did a real good job, and the people enjoyed it, and that's good in that sense. Now, the reason when I was growing up, you had certain books that you had to read in school, and Of Mice and Men was one of them. There was also a book called The Pearl that we read, John Steinbeck, and there were things like, and we did it, play To Kill a Mockingbird, things like that. And a lot of those books right now, you can't find them in school libraries because they have been banned. Because of the language. And, you know, I understand a lot of things, but you can't erase history. And the problem is they ban these books, and then they put these gross and autonomous books in their place. So there's some real issues there. Real issues. But okay, we're just doing that. Just doing us these little favor things, little kind of cutting the ears back and stuff. Just kind of cutting like that. See how we're just bringing that part of the face just down. Just slowly bring it down. And you bring this front almost to a point in a way. It's going to be real thin up in here. And we're going to kind of get that at a kind of a point. And they kind of get this going. Scrape along there, as we say. And come in here and just cut that section out there near where the eyes would be. But we had good response, and the play went well. And there was a part for a older man called Candy in the Grapes of Wrath, and that was the part that I did. And like I said, it went well. We really did. So, okay, let me continue to remove some wood in here. Okay. Man, the dogs are barking like crazy. What in the world? What's going on? You hear them? Huh. We had a little dog running around the neighborhood. It's a stray. Probably went over in that area and got those dogs to barking. All right, see that? Kind of getting it lined out here. Like I said, it finally has kind of turned nice on us, and it's good to get out and get some things done. Just, come on. There we go. And I'm gonna bring those feet down. Yeah, that's why I didn't do any Halloween stuff. There's so much Halloween stuff. Doug did a ghost, and another guy did a ghost, and people are doing pumpkins and all this other stuff. And I like seasonal carvings. I've done some, but basically I've tried to, since we have so many people on the internet now, and that are doing carving demonstrations, that I just sort of, I know they're going to be doing those things, so I just let them do them and leave it up to them, and maybe get their channel going, get their YouTube channel going, where people will start watching them, and I just do other little things, in other words. Okay. Okay, let's see, just kind of go around it, taking wood off, just showing like that. You really have to watch the wood on these things, because it's sure changes easy on there. Like I said, I hope everyone is doing well. Everyone's having a good time, and that the Lord is giving you blessings and treating you right. And I'm just so tickled to see all these people who are hitting the internet and carving now. As most of you know, as I grew up, or when I first got into carving, there just wasn't anybody on the internet doing it, hardly at all. So it was hard to learn. It's hard to take things to limits they were. And everything is doing good. Yeah, that Airbnb, as I think I've talked about it, has really taken up a lot of time, because I was doing a lot of the work myself for her. And so we finally, I think, are coming to the end of it, And I am very, very happy. Very happy that that we're getting it going. Just kind of see how the tail just and when you get on this tail and you start working from the end or back or whatever it is, you want to be real careful and not get it too thin, or because the eyes are actually on this thing will come right here. We're just gonna put a little eye right there, in other words, right there on the thing, and you just kind of. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I'm gonna just draw a little thing in here for the ear. I'm gonna take my knife, and you want to be careful. You don't want to put too much pressure, and just cut little things in there. And same thing here. I'm just going to kind of wing it here and just cut these little I tell you what, I told my daughter this, when you get into doing houses and stuff, tell you what, it gets very, very expensive. That the cost, it's just unbelievable what the cost of things are these days. And they're not, anything's cheap. They're always expensive. And so when you get into that kind of stuff, I tell you what, let me get my V-tool also. I'm going to take my V-tool and kind of go in here and get some of this stuff out. Now when I do that, what I do is this. I take when I'm working on this like this, I take my thumb and I put this behind here, okay? Come from this side too. There it goes. But I come